What is the worst of unlevel playing fields? It's the internet and social media and the algorithms. And the point is, if you're on a soccer field and one of the sides is muddier than the other and it creates a disadvantage for you, maybe it's very sunny out and you got the muddy side for the first half, and by the time you get to the second half, it's dried out enough that it's not such a big problem. Okay, well, that was unfair to you in that case. It's still the result of a coin flip, so the universe wasn't being unfair. It just, you got unlucky. And by the way, I would say, what I didn't say is that when luck is not randomly distributed, it is not luck. That's the point. When we say luck, what we mean is sometimes you win some, sometimes you lose some. If your, disadvantage has to do with the fact that people who have your nose shape tend not to do as well because of whatever, because of the zip code they tend to be born into, has lead in the water, or people don't take them as seriously at school or whatever, right? When that luck is systematically rather than randomly distributed, it ain't luck, it's something else, right? And it doesn't mean that it is inherently the active bias of people, but it is at least non-random and therefore unfair, and there is something to do about it if it's structural. The point, though, about the algorithms is you can tell that one side of the soccer field is muddy. You have no idea what the hell is going on with the algorithms. And I know, because you and I have suffered a whole hell of a lot of structural bias targeted at us. Why? Because we said things that ran afoul of power, right? There was a whole lot of systematic work to lower our reach. But what happens when people systematically attempt to lower your reach based on the fact that you have opinions that are deemed to be dangerous or whatever? Is you start seeing it whenever actual bad luck happens, because of course you would, right? It's very hard if you are the victim of a campaign to downregulate your reach. And then the normal ebb and flow of discussion happens to miss stuff that should have gone farther in your estimation, then it's impossible not, you never know when what you're feeling is simple bad luck, like the day that you get 6 bad hands in poker in a row. You don't know when it's that, and you don't know when it's actually, oh no, there's actually a thing that, is gunning for me. Or
but you said it's impossible to miss. I feel like it's more likely to miss if there's a shadowy algorithm that's controlling things.
Well, my point is, of course, you will project onto the algorithm an unfairness.
Yes.
A bias. You will tend to think, why does the algorithm dislike me? Sometimes the algorithm dislikes you for reasons that are not specific to you. Like, I don't know what goes on now, but back in the day with Twitter used to punish you for disciplining yourself on how much Twitter you were looking at. So when you came back to Twitter with some idea that you wanted to put out, it would do less well than if you put the same thing out when you had been active on the site. Right. So is that unfair? Well, not really. If everybody suffers from the same algorithm at some level, it's fair. It may be awful.
It's promoting addiction. But,
it's promoting addiction, but it's equally so for all participants.
Right. Yeah.
So it's not structurally unfair. Whereas if you run afoul of, if you say ivermectin, right, at the wrong moment in history, and suddenly there's a flag on your account and everything that you tweet hits molasses, right? Well, that is structurally unfair, but you can't see it. You have to guess as to whether that's happening. And so anyway, my point is, at some level, we need in our digital Bill of Rights, whenever that finally happens, and it is necessary that it happen, we need to have the places in which we try to make sense of the world structurally neutral, right? I'm not arguing that you won't have to have algorithms, but those algorithms can't be targeted at people or ideas, or otherwise what you get is the loop of you're a bad person because you are spreading misinformation. Well, how do we know it's misinformation? because it violates the scientific consensus. Well, how do we know what the scientific consensus is? Because all of these scientists are saying the same thing. Yes, but you've just told me that you target people who depart from it. So I have no frickin' idea what the scientific consensus would be. Not that scientific consensus is a good concept in the first place, but if you're going to use it as a proxy, it's a terrible proxy. If what you're doing is punishing people who depart from it, what you're going to get is an echo, right?
Yep.
So anyway, my basic point is level playing fields are the sine qua non of the West, and there is a reason that's about the best we're ever going to do. Let competition unfold on a level playing field that works in science, it works in politics, it works in markets, it works across everything. It's the best thing you're going to do is to let people figure out what's true in a system that isn't biased. The algorithms in their current state are the inverse of this. They're anti-Western. So anyway, I'm not sure where that leaves us, but I do think it's an important insight, and I thought I'd share it, and I'll be fascinated to see what comes back from other people as they play with it or challenge it or whatever they're going to do.
Excellent.